Have you ever met someone who is always nice? They're always available. They always help. They always say yes. They avoid conflict. They put other people's needs before their own. And yet, despite all of that, they often end up exhausted, frustrated, and unappreciated. Maybe that person is someone you know. Or maybe it's you. The truth is that being a good person is not the problem. Kindness is not the problem. Helping others is not the problem. The problem begins when kindness turns into self-sacrifice. When being nice becomes a habit of putting everyone else before yourself. When your desire to be liked becomes stronger than your ability to set boundaries. And that's when being nice can start destroying your life. From a young age, many of us are taught to be nice. Share with others. Be polite. Don't upset people. Don't cause problems. And while those lessons are important, nobody really teaches us the other side of the story. Nobody teaches us that some people will take advantage of kindness. Nobody teaches us that being kind and being a people pleaser are two completely different things. Because they look similar from the outside, but they're not the same. A kind person helps because they want to. A people pleaser helps because they're afraid not to. That's a huge difference. Think about how many times you've said yes when you wanted to say no. How many times you've agreed with someone just to avoid an argument. How many times you've spent your energy helping people who wouldn't do the same for you. At first, these decisions seem small. You tell yourself it's not a big deal. You don't want to disappoint anyone. You don't want to look selfish. So you keep saying yes, again and again and again, until one day you realize that everyone else's needs have become more important than your own. And that's where resentment begins, because eventually you start asking yourself a question: why am I always there for everyone, but nobody is there for me? It's a painful question, but it's also an important one. Because sometimes the answer is uncomfortable. Sometimes the reason people don't value your kindness is because you've taught them not to. You've made your time available whenever they want it. You've made your help expected instead of appreciated. You've shown them that you'll continue giving, even when nothing comes back. And over time, some people start treating your kindness like an unlimited resource. Not because they're evil, not because they're terrible people, but because human beings naturally get used to what is always available. Think about it. People often appreciate water the most when they're thirsty. They appreciate help the most when it's not guaranteed. When something is always there, many people stop noticing its value. And unfortunately, that can happen with kindness too. This becomes even more dangerous when you're surrounded by the wrong people. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to your energy. Not everyone deserves your loyalty. Not everyone deserves your time. One of the hardest lessons in life is understanding that being a good person does not mean being good to everyone. Some people only contact you when they need something. Some people disappear when you need help. Some people take and take and take without ever giving anything back. And if you're not careful, you'll spend years investing in relationships that were never healthy to begin with. The scary part is that many nice people don't notice this immediately because they always try to see the best in others. They make excuses. Maybe they're just busy. Maybe they're having a hard time. Maybe next time will be different. And sometimes that's true, but sometimes it isn't. Sometimes the reality is much simpler. Some people don't value you, not because you're worthless, but because they only value what you can do for them. The moment you stop giving, they disappear. And that's one of the clearest signs that the relationship was never balanced. A real friendship doesn't only exist when one person is useful. A real friendship survives even when there's nothing to gain. The same thing applies to romantic relationships. Many people think that being endlessly nice will make someone love them, so they constantly give. Their time, their attention, their energy, their effort, they become available 24 hours a day. They ignore their own needs. They do everything possible to make the other person happy, and yet many times it doesn't work. Why? Because respect is just as important as kindness. People admire those who value themselves. People respect those who have standards. People are attracted to individuals who know their worth. Being nice is valuable, but being nice without boundaries often leads to being taken for granted. Imagine lending someone money. The first time, they thank you. The second time, they appreciate it. The 10th time, they expect it. That's how many relationships work. What starts as generosity slowly becomes an obligation, and once people expect something, they stop appreciating it. This is why boundaries are so important. Unfortunately, many people hear the word boundaries and think it means becoming cold, selfish, unfriendly. But that's not what boundaries are. Boundaries simply mean understanding where your responsibility ends. You are responsible for being respectful. You are not responsible for making everyone happy. You are responsible for being honest. You are not responsible for everyone else's reactions. You are responsible for your choices. You are not responsible for fixing everyone's problems. That's a huge difference. One of the most powerful skills you can learn is saying no without feeling guilty. Not because you want to hurt people, not because you don't care, but because your time and energy are limited. Every yes to something you don't want is a no to something you do want. Every time you ignore your own needs, you're teaching yourself that your needs don't matter. And after years of doing that, your self-respect begins to disappear. The truth is that the people who genuinely care about you will usually respect your boundaries. Healthy people understand that you have your own life, your own priorities, your own limits. The people who get angry when you finally say no are often the same people who benefited the most from your inability to do it. Think about that for a moment. If someone becomes upset simply because you stopped letting them take advantage of you, the problem isn't your boundary. The problem is their expectation. A lot of people spend years trying to earn love by constantly giving. They believe that if they're helpful enough, kind enough, patient enough, everyone will appreciate them. But life doesn't work that way. You cannot earn respect by abandoning yourself. You cannot build healthy relationships by ignoring your own needs. And you cannot create genuine connections by pretending you're okay with things that hurt you. The strongest people aren't the ones who give everything away. They're the ones who know when to give and when to walk away. The ones who can be kind without being naive. The ones who can help without being used. The ones who can love others without forgetting themselves. Because real kindness starts with self-respect, not self-sacrifice. And if there's one thing I want you to remember from this video, it's this. Being kind is a strength. But kindness without boundaries becomes weakness. You don't need to stop being a good person. You don't need to become cold. You don't need to stop helping others. You simply need to stop giving your energy to people who only appear when they need something. Be kind, be respectful, be generous, but choose carefully who receives the best parts of you, because your time is limited. Your energy is valuable, and not everyone deserves unlimited access to either.